Today you checking in, just trying to let you know kind of how life works in certain ways. We don't know everything, we'll never know everything, but at least we can kind of combine a lot of knowledge and wisdom and information to try to make things go as we wish. One of the main things that I've learned is do not say what you don't want, only say what you want. For example, one of the most common is money. Some people may say, I don't want to be broke, but our mind doesn't register don't. So all it hears is, I am broke, essentially. So you pretty much don't want to say what you don't want, you only want to say what you do want. So, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you're saying that you already have it, that you're thankful that you have it. So an example would be, I'm thankful that I have millions of dollars in my bank accounts. I'm thankful that I have the car that I want and I enjoy it and I'm happy. Imagine driving the car that you want and just try to feel what it would feel like. Be happy that you have it already. When you have that feeling inside, that is giving out the vibration, the energy for everything to come into play for that to happen. But then the other side of it is, you're going to be given opportunities to make that happen. You're not going to be handed whatever it is. So you're going to have to realize that, oh, that's the opportunity that can lead to this, and then that will lead to this and that, whatever, that will make that car become mine. So when we try to manifest, it's not anything that's given to you. You will have to work for it in most cases, depending on your energy, and there's many factors to a lot of things, and I don't even know all of it, and no one does. But we can only know almost like hints, and we can practice, we can get to know ourselves better. We can learn information and then put that information into works in ourselves and then refine that into what works best for us. So take in as much as you can from as many different sources that you can. Hey, outside. Outside. Dog trying to use the bathroom. Take in as many sources of information that you can, and then combine all of that. Use your judgment, but judgment takes time to build up. You can't just go based off of how you feel straight out of childhood or teenage years or even into the 20s, because a lot of it is based on your previous experiences in life. A lot of people think that they know what they're saying is whatever it is, but they don't realize that they only know what they've been taught so far, and there's other things that they haven't been taught yet. So they may feel confident, they may feel like they know what they're saying, but it may and most likely is not what the reality is. There's many perceptions. When I was a child, I noticed perception at a young age, the fact that we can look at things differently. A lot of it is, like I said, based off of what we grew up to know, and all of our experiences combined have created ourselves. And a self is a separate entity than us. Like we could be mind, spirit, body, how they say 3 in 1, like God's 3 in 1. It's kind of like what we are, like our mind, our thinking, our feeling, our emotion. That could be one part of it. Another part of it could be the actual spirit, which no one really knows. I mean, I studied with the Rosicrucians. They get pretty deep, but humans don't know. We have an idea, but we don't know everything. But then we have the physical, we have the spirit, we have the mind. It could be the soul, the mind, the physical. There's different ways to say it. And again, no one really knows exactly what it is. But our self is kind of what urges us. Based on our previous experiences, like growing up, we're used to eating a lot of ice cream. Now we grow up and we always want ice cream. So if we haven't experienced something, we won't know it. We got to understand that we only know what we've been taught. So when we feel things and when we think that we recognize things as a certain thing or a certain experience or circumstance or situation, we got to understand it's really based off of what we grew up to know what is reality, but we may not have been taught properly. So we need to really get all the information that we can. Never think that we know everything, because we never will. We can know more than others, but we may not know everything. So we want to try to accumulate as much knowledge as possible and then use our judgment, but we need to exercise that. So you may learn from trial and error. You may have a really smart person in your life that can say, hey, don't do this because of this, don't do that because that can happen. If you do this action, it can lead to here or here. It's like a game of chess. You make this move, and then that is a combination of other things that can happen. And that's why Psalms and Proverbs gives you a lot of good wisdom, but it's very general. It may not apply to like exact situations, but it can help, and we really should start there. And then after that, I don't care what you believe. I don't care about, whatever you believe as far as God goes. It is valid information, and it's 100% true, regardless of where you think it came from. So, and it's been proven. So gather as much info as you can, exercise your judgment, understand, like I was saying, in a childhood situation, I was on monkey bars, I hung upside down, and I looked at a road that I knew every day to feel and seem a certain way. And I didn't even know that I had a feeling, or I didn't even know that I had a perception of it until I hung upside down and I looked at that road, and then I felt differently about it. I was like, oh wait, I have a feeling? I have a feeling in regards to this? I didn't even know this was a feeling. There's a feeling involved. Okay, so I recognize that. Now it doesn't look like the same street. And I'm like, why? How? How could that not look like the same street? I've known that street since I was a child. How could it not? And I come to realize that from a certain angle, direction, or viewpoint, you may look at things in another way. So we have to know that there are many ways to look at things that we may not be able to recognize now with our current understanding. So gather as much info as you can from many different sources. Some of it may not be correct, some of it may be correct, but at least we know. The more information we have, the better decision we can make. And whatever you want in life, be happy that you have it already. Never say what you don't want, only say what you want. And then, little by little, and it's going to take a lot of consistent trying, and it's really called faith. You're going to have to push on, even if you don't see results, even if you don't. I went through a super insane situation in my life for almost 10 years. And I realized that I had the ability to try things and test and evaluate and analyze. And even though I wasn't seeing results right away, I didn't care. I just kept on trying and thinking, analyzing, computing. And I've come to realize that it does take way more than the average person is willing to put forth to come to the conclusions that we need to gain the information or understand things a certain way or see things a certain way. So many variables, and there's many different situations that can occur, but exercising ourselves spiritually, mentally, and physically will help us become stronger spiritually, mentally, and physically. So gather as much as you can. Concentrate on what's good. Only say what you want. Stay positive. Even if you don't feel it, just pretend. Eventually, that energy will go out and then come back. And then, little by little, over the days, weeks, months, and years, it can grow into something better. But it's not some overnight thing. It's not something that you'll see a result quick enough to recognize, oh, it worked. You may never feel like it works, but then you can go back and think about the accumulated situations that have occurred since you've come to a certain realization, and then finally realize that, oh, it did work. And it's not like something that will just occur. It's an accumulation of many different circumstances over time, results, outcomes, that you will just need to use judgment to understand. First, exercise judgment, but who knows what a first best thing should be. But if you use what I told you, if you try to implement it, it wasn't exact instructions, but there is no exact instructions. Like, it all depends on the person individually. So you're gonna have to really analyze yourself and maybe compare the way you look at things to how someone else looks at things. and how another person may look at things. And then you may see these patterns that you can pick up on, and patterns can't lie. If you see something over and over and over from different situations, different people that don't know each other, there has to be something to it. So with that info, I hope it can benefit you one way or the other. I guess you could call this an overall better life exercise, to try to have a better life and to try to realize certain things and come to a better conclusion with our own existence and existence in itself. I don't think that this is some matrix where we're sleeping somewhere and this is just all in our mind, because why? Like, why would that even be? Why would someone go through great lengths to make a creation, to have it sleeping, just dreaming about something? And then how could it ever dream about anything real if it never experienced it? So that kind of like cancels itself out. So there may be different dimensions, there may be other things going on that we can't see, but I don't think that whole sleeping in liquid, hooked up to a system, everything in your mind thing is real, because like, what would we be dreaming of? Like, it would have had to have been of some type of real situation that we're dreaming of. And if we've never gotten to experience any real situation, how can we dream of that? You know, so maybe someone else put it in our minds, but then where would that come from? If it never happened, how could we be thinking about it? So think about that. No one will know what the true reality is, but at least we can get hints and work towards a sharper way of thinking, a higher awareness, and a higher vibration in general. Universal laws are 100% real. I've said things that have come to be. I've seen signs, like literal billboards. I've opened books up to things that I've spoken about earlier in that day. It is 100% real. And I've seen it time and time again. So at least you know that I've been through those situations. I've been through some of the worst situations that a man would cry every single night because of. And I made it through. And I disregarded the pain and the suffering, and I accepted it, and I said, thank you, Father, because I knew it was going to make me stronger. And it did. And because I said thank you, I feel like I was able to be more pleasing to God, and to our Creator. We were created. There's no way around that. You do your research on that. But so I think that the fact that I suffered and still said thank you and I appreciate it and got the good out of it was because it was the reason why He blessed me to understand certain things. But I can tell you these things, I can show you these things, and hopefully you can benefit from that and not have to go through an extreme situation. And I tried to do the same thing for my family, but they didn't have faith and they all backstabbed me. So right now I'm dolo. I'm where I'm at because I made it myself from the dungeon, literal. I made it. And I don't have pride. I don't care about, like, it's not really like, I'm not saying this in a way to where like I'm trying to make myself look good or anything like that. I do not feel pride. I hate pride. I'm saying it because you can do the same. And the point I'm trying to make is that anyone can do this. Anyone can go hard in life. But there is a combination of awarenesses that you're gonna need to come to a conclusion of, to be able to understand, to be able to get to the next step, and even understand that there are steps, understand that there are different perceptions, awarenesses. And once you can do that, more doors will open, and then, you know, it'll almost be like a big spider web. You may find out some information up here in the left, right, and then later on in life, you'll see it connect to something. Sorry, I meant to say the top left. And then you may see that it connects to something in the top right, and then in the bottom right, in the bottom left. And then you'll see that it's a big, like a web of things. So I've come to many different conclusions. There's almost so many things that I can't even remember everything to even explain it, but I've seen that, and I've astral projected before. There's so many deep things that have occurred, but we do need to have God in our hearts, in everything that we do, because there's only destruction otherwise. And no one really wants to be destroyed. If you wanted that, you would have just killed yourself to begin with. So just be real with yourself. That's, just be real. Just be real. I don't care about pride. I don't need anyone to make me feel good or anything like that. That's actually like if you were to put a candle out and just have a little, unlit, it melted to a certain point and it's unlit and that's it. That's where I'm at. Like, yeah, I had the little prideful things in the beginning of life, but realized, oh, I don't even need that. And that's actually hindrance. So that got cut out. And I'm to the point where I know what I can do. I know what I can, say, do, think, feel, whatever. So I don't really need to like go out of my way to prove that to anyone else for them to react towards that. And then I feel good because of that. No, I don't even need that. I already know that I've already accomplished certain things in certain extreme circumstances to where I know what I can do now. And so the fact that I just know in myself covers that. So get rid of pride. Don't do anything, realize what's happening. When you do something, let's say you feel like you're doing something cool and you feel good about it, recognize that you're feeling good about something that you think you did. You have to actually recognize the feeling. Sometimes we don't even know that we're feeling a certain feeling and doing a certain thing. So if you feel good because of something, like think, dude, do I really need to feel good about that? I mean, I know what I could do. What am I feeling good about, right? Am I feeling good because I did it for myself, or am I feeling good because I'm saying it in front of someone else and now they're impressed? Like think of why you feel that you feel. Understand what you feel first. And I think from there, you may be able to refine yourself a little bit better. This is free, valuable information that I hope can benefit. And I hope maybe God will bless me even more because I can share this, and I hope that it can mean something to you and you can understand it. There wasn't direct instruction and it was slightly vague, but I think that with enough exercise in the areas that I said, you will be able to see what I said does mean something, and hopefully it can help you. God bless.